Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wallet Reset. It's Mike Malborough, and today I'm going to tell you something that happened to me that was amazing. I'm going to tell you how to increase your click-through rate on your email. So let's just get into it, right? So first, before I get into it, let me just tell you the story of how I did this, right? So essentially, this actually, even though it happened today, this actually started about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So what happened is, as you guys know, at work I do email marketing, I do content marketing, I do social media. I'm just an all-around digital marketer. But what happened was I kind of wanted to test some things out. Just kind of had an idea for something that was cool. And so I was like, well, hey, let me try this out. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I took one of our worst performing email lists that had about 1,500 people or 1,600 people on the list, and I started writing to them specifically in a form to basically give them a story. All right, so the story was something that happened over several weeks, where each email kind of connected to the first one. And so what I ended up doing after that, I put in a email today, right before I left work, that basically summarized what they had learned and given them just a link to click. It wasn't even something to buy. I just wanted to test how the link clicks, right? So this is why I chose this particular list, right? Is because, so for that list, we were getting an open rate of before I started of about, I want to say about 11%, right? And it creeped up, but not a lot, right? And also we were getting a click-through rate of sometimes 1%. So it was not good. And I think last month it was like a 0.8% click-through rate. So less than 1% actually clicked the link that we gave them. So I just was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? This list isn't really active anyway, and we had a lot of unsubscribes for like the last 2 months, so I really just wanted to change it up. And so what I did was something that I've never really tried before, but like I said, I started by just kind of getting an idea of like, okay, well, what does my audience want, and how do I give it to them in a way where I kind of leave a trail of breadcrumbs, and by the end of the trail, they're ready to take action, right? And so I kind of formulated a very loose idea. I didn't even write it down. I kind of was like, oh, let me just wing it a little bit. As you can see, I didn't really, with this email list, I really wasn't expecting much, because I was like, well, rarely anybody even opens the email, so why not? But anyway, I actually ended up today, right before I left work, like I said, the list is about, I want to say 1,600, it's just under 1,600 people on that email list. And what I ended up doing was I emailed them right before I left. All right, now just to give you an example of what I mean, last week I wrote on Thursday, and as of today, this morning, I checked the stats and had to adjust the stats, and because we'd had some more action happen in terms of my spreadsheet. And on my spreadsheet, I had that I ended up sending about just over 1,600. I had a whole bunch of people that unsubscribed, so I went under 1,600. Then I ended up, I think 218 people answered or opened the email, and I don't remember the exact number that clicked, but it was under 1%. So I was, kind of expecting a slight increase maybe, but I clicked send, and about 5 minutes later, I checked, I'm not really even checking my stats, but just going back to the dashboard, because I had to write an email to the actual groups that respond, or the list that respond. And when I click to the dashboard, and this is on Constant Contact for those of you who use Constant Contact at all, on the dashboard it tells you like the open rate and the click-through rate. And I looked at it and I was like, this seems odd, because obviously sometimes you'll get a click where somebody will open your email like a minute or two after you send it. But this time it looked different because, most of the time those numbers are really low. It might be like 1 or 2% if, 4 or 5 people open. But this time it was like 13%. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let me check this. I had already beaten, in terms of open, I had already beaten the open for last week in terms of the amount of people that actually opened it. Now, I hadn't had any bounces yet for real. I think I had like 1 or 2 bounces, so that stat will probably change as the bounces come in or whatever. But I realized that I was onto something when I looked at the click-through rate, and it said, I think like 51% and some change. And so I was like, wait, what? And so like literally the most people that have ever interacted with that email list, I think was maybe like 20 ever, you know what I mean? And that was when we had more people on the email list months ago. So the fact that I was able to, just by telling them this story, get a 40, I think it ended up, when I was leaving, I checked it again, and it ended up being like 48%, like 47.9%. So obviously, that's because more people are opening the emails as I was leaving, and actually our open rates had increased. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was just about 16, 17%. So with that, some clicks, we had some more clicks, but the click-through rate was going down. But we had over 110 clicks when I left. So as I said, this is an email list that we don't normally get more than 20. So I'm very, very excited about how this works. And to be honest with you, what I may do is end up writing or copying these emails and putting them into like a little something for you guys. And what I want you to do is just, if you see this video, let me know in the comments if you want me to put something together for you guys to show you basically the whole entire sequence that they went through. And if you do, I'll just, I'll package it up and give it to you. Actually, I may just do that anyway, because it seemed like a cool thing to do. I'm astounded by these results, but I'm gonna wait until Monday, because usually by like Monday, if I email on Thursday, usually Monday is like when everything is done. So I'm gonna wait until Monday or Tuesday before I really decide whether I'm gonna give you guys access to those emails or not. But I'm really excited to see what happens. So now I'm gonna outline exactly what you should do if you want to try this out, okay? So obviously you have to know what your audience wants, right? And if you have a small email list, it may still work because this is not really that big of an email list. But if you have a small, like a very small email list, like let's say, 100, 200 people, it may or may not work. I don't really know. So you're welcome to try it out and let me know what happens. But ultimately what I'm going to say is this. The first thing you need to understand is know what you want to give them first, right? What your end goal is, right? Because if you're going to write 4, 5, 3, however many emails, you have to know what the end goal is. Not like concrete, but you have to know where you're taking them. And then when you start by giving them the first step. Now, this is a concept that some of you may or may not have heard about. I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow, so make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you can make sure you don't miss this video tomorrow. But what I used was a formula that I actually found out after doing it. It's called results in advance. And there's a lot of people that do this, but they have a different way of doing it than I did it. And this was just amazing to me because I actually didn't have to give them anything like what a lot of people do. They give you something in exchange for you to, do something else, like in terms of trying to engage your audience, right? That's what they're really trying to do when they give them something. But for me, it was a disengaged audience. I saw that some people would answer, some people would open, some people would not. And what I had to do was the first thing, like I said, after I knew what I wanted to give them or get them to do. Ultimately, what I did is I approached it like, okay, well, they won't open, so let's just build curiosity, right? So I went in literally trying to focus on the email subject lines being as mystifying as I could, like just build as much curiosity as I can within that sentence. And then the email content, huge. No links, no nothing. If there was a link, it was a link out to maybe like a video or article or something like that, just to prove the point that I was trying to make in the email. Now, these emails, 100% content, right? 100% content. And this was what the important part was, is that when I was writing it so that they knew that it was just content. Like I would essentially say, okay, well, I'm linking out to NPR or I'm linking out to Fortune magazine or something like that, so that they knew that I'm not sending you to buy anything. And then the final email, the email right before the final email, I told them basically what I was doing to get incredible results, which essentially was what I had kind of pre-framed or given them an idea of in the first two emails, right? So the first email, I told them what they were doing wrong. The second email, I told them how they know that what they're doing is wrong and how it probably should be. And then I told them basically every email I told them, the next email I'm going to give you a little bit more. Then the third email, I told them, okay, well, this is what I've been doing. This is what I'm suggesting that you do. This is my results. I gave them just a little taste of my results. And then I said, hey, if you want to check it out, make sure that you tune in to next week's email. Boom. This week, the email hit. I told them exactly what I had been doing, right? And which it was literally just the results in advance formula. I told them all about the results in advance formula, and I put a link to it, and I said there's a 7-minute video by Frank Kern, which a lot of you guys may or may not know of who Frank Kern is. He's a marketing genie, wizard, whatever you want to call it. He's the guy. So I sent them to a video of Frank Kern. Now, I didn't tell them it was a YouTube video. I didn't tell them anything. I just told them, hey, Frank put together a short video. It's 7 minutes long. Go check it out. And that could have been a sale. It wasn't a sale because ultimately I wasn't going after a sale. I was just trying to reignite the email list, get them to open up to me a little bit more, to build that bond. And I got to tell you, I am blown away by how well it worked. So anyway, like I said, if you guys want access to these emails or you want me to put something together, really, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to teach you guys the results in advance formula. And then after that, I'm going to actually put together a quick little download for you guys so that you guys can get, this results in advance formula, get a idea of what I was trying to do with these emails. And that way you guys can just start using it if you already have an email list. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm thrilled to see what happens on Monday. And hopefully you guys are happy for me. Leave a thumbs up if you are excited for tomorrow's video. All right, where I'm going to talk to you about results in advance. Anyway, it's Mike Malborough signing out. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.